Welcome everybody. This is Louisiana Catalyst and Burn the Ship, bringing you a special series that's focused on small business resources in North Louisiana to help you and your business. Today we got Deron, Vice Chairman of Louisiana Catalyst, myself, President of Louisiana Catalyst, and Kyle Stouty
is hanging out with Catalyst.
The face of Burn the Ship, also co-host with me on that. So we wanted to bring y'all a special series that focused on things that would help you and your business, and wanted to jumpstart this with Deron and Kyle, myself, because I know that's our passion to help you, and even as small business owners ourselves, that we know the struggle and not knowing what's available. So this is our way of giving back and just giving you the access to the resources. So welcome everybody.
Oh, glad to be here. Thank you guys for having us. Of course, what we're doing here at Louisiana Catalyst, it feels great to be in here for this podcast room that we have that's been in the works for a while now.
Yeah.
The blood, sweat, and tears. And I want to salute our president, Mr. Deron, who's done a phenomenal job getting this thing coordinated, facilitated, the visionary. And so I'm excited to be here.
Shoot ya.
Appreciate it. So Deron, it gets funny because I'm trying to think not from which hat I'm wearing. So I'm going to put on my Burn the Ship hat, right?
All right.
Co-host. Tell us what Louisiana Catalyst, what this podcast room means, and what are some of the things that Catalyst is doing to try to help small businesses?
Exactly what you see here is provide resources, provide services, provide opportunities through relationship building, information empowerment, all of that right here in the one-stop shop at Louisiana Catalyst. You can find through myself, through Quentin, obviously. Other people like Kyle also contribute heavily to what we do at Catalyst in terms of the innovation. We feel confident in the friendships, bondships, relationships that if Quentin or I don't know it, or any of our other board members or persons that we work with, we can dial up Kyle. We can dial up some other names in the community and say, hey, here's a small business. They're looking at doing something like that. Didn't you do a similar project? Can you give us some insight? And because of the networking ability that you get here at Catalyst, I think businesses are going to thrive and reach further success in than what they initially even dreamed.
Yeah, I'll throw on that real quick because it was always an intent and purpose with Catalyst when we started. This was not a one-person show or something that one person owned, but really something that if you're involved, you're part of Catalyst. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't belong to anybody, mm-hmm, right? We're a 501c3 nonprofit status. None of us get paid for this, but our real blood, sweat, and tears is the price we pay because we understand the value and what's needed in this community to help build this ecosystem. So, I go back when I think about meeting Kyle for the first time and luring him to North Louisiana, which is part of our goal, right? Bringing in technology companies and trying to show them the landscape and help navigate and plug them into different companies. But then also now having a valuable resource of somebody that is in the technology space, right? So when I got somebody that wants an app, which just recently happened, boom, I'm sending them over to Kyle because he's in that space and he has the knowledge. And that's kind of how we work. Is as much as on the wall you see it, entrepreneurship, networking, innovation, collaboration. That's it. And without that, we wouldn't be where we're at.
Exactly. When you think about the name Louisiana Catalyst, that igniter, that flame, that spark to help somebody get to the next level, no matter where they are when they come to us. We've had folks come to us with just an idea and didn't even know how to really organize thought. We'll be that spark to help them ignite and take that next step. They have folks that come to us that are already existing and maybe even thriving to an extent, but just looking for other ways to be innovative or effective, efficient in their operations. They come to us and we share that. And so when you look at that name, Louisiana Catalyst, that's in relationships, that's in your operations of your business. The whole piece of it is what we try and help businesses reach.
Sure. I think this is one of the pillars is collaboration, right? So this kind of Burn the Ship kind of podcast thing, we had started already and Catalyst was already existing, and the opportunity just made sense because the vision of Burn the Ship fully aligns and overlaps with what Catalyst is trying to do. And now we're just kind of merging those, entities or bringing them together to really push, a narrative. We've been talking all day. Burn the Ship, the focus was to share, your journey, your story when it came to starting your company, and with the hopes of promoting inspiration, right? Maybe lighting that fire under you. And then kind of doing these more business resource podcasts with the Burn the Ship Catalyst collaboration to let people know, well, hey, you have access to so many different resources, and we want to highlight and show those off. By the way, just like the last guest we had, there's more inspiration to be gathered out of something. Talking to the West Monroe Chamber earlier too, it's like I was getting inspired just hearing them talk about what their vision was. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's I'm excited to it mixes up the content, but we wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't a clear vision and alignment across the two. So it's I'm glad to be a part of this journey as well. So very cool stuff going on for sure.
Yeah, no, the inspiration is contagious.
It is.
When you hear another entrepreneur's story, why they started, why they do what they do, even if they don't own the company, maybe they're just a leader in the company, but to see why they wake up and why their company is doing what it's doing in this part of the state especially, it gives all of us hope, gives me hope to say, you know what? I could just sit and be complacent for the next 30 years, ride it out, and so forth like that. But it's like, no, other people are waking up every day, not just to improve their quality of life, but the whole quality of life of our community. And so that's, Catalyst is another player that influences the quality of life, because we are working with these small business owners that are taking their dreams to another level, knowing that the resources, the services, the products they put in this community are to help all of us. Whether we use them directly or indirectly, any company thriving in this area benefits all of us.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's that collaboration that ultimately leads and opens doors to future growth. And you just never know what bridge you cross that later you come back and you're like, man, that connection. I think about my relationship with Johnny's Pizza and having that relationship with them and not knowing what that might do. I didn't work there I worked there for my first 7 years in high school and college, but never knowing that relationship would later help me in banking and other regards, and introduce them to Kyle. So you just never know. And so it's like, never underestimate either, somebody or a situation. Yeah. Always stay humble, because the road you might have to cross might be that person you overlook.
No, that's valid. In fact, I've seen it myself. I worked for Small Business Development Center for about 6-7 years as their director of marketing. And when I left there, I made sure to call, to email, and say, hey, I'm leaving the organization, but I'm not leaving you. We're still, we still have a relationship. I still want to come in and work with you all, work with your clients, because of the stories that we were telling from there. Many of the small business owners, I began to have their direct sale number, and they're calling me, not just their business consultant. They're calling me, hey, Deron, I'm trying to get on this social media platform. I know you're not my consultant, but what are your thoughts? Right. And the consultants felt comfortable with their clients calling me. And so just because I'm not at that agency, I don't want you to think that Deron's not a resource anymore. No, I'm still in the small business world. As a matter of fact, I got my own practice. As a matter of fact, I'm a part of Louisiana Catalyst. These resources that I bring, my mental capital is available still for you, whatever I can do to advise. Why? We want these companies to grow, survive, thrive. And so the relationship piece, as we go from, career to career or company to company, starting little projects along the way, we don't burn relationships. We build them.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to piggyback what you were saying about never underestimating a relationship that you can build. So I'm naturally very introverted. I call myself a learned extrovert. You know what I mean? In certain situations, I can be extrovert. You know what I mean? So there's times ever since I took that burnt my ship, right, and pursued my business, that there were networking opportunities that I kept questioning, God, do I really want to go and force myself to talk to people? And I'll give you an example. So Oxford, Mississippi is where we started Easy Rider. And the chamber would always put on these, and there's a lot of, kind of similar to, there's a lot of old money there. So it's kind of intimidating at first, Well, I ended up going, to a couple events. Well, I believe he was president of the chamber at the time. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Natchitoches, but was plugged into Ruston. He's like, hey, check in with, this lady at the time. She was working with the city to see, because I don't think Uber and Lyft's there yet. Well, that's how I ended up coming this way. That's how I met you, and that's how we're now in this position, right? So it's had I not gone to that, would this opportunity have even come about? You know what I mean? So it's that's just kind of maybe a small testimony to you really can't underestimate, you know. There's no such thing as knowing too many people. Right. You know?
Yeah, the way I like right now is graduation season. My little brother's getting ready to graduate ULM this on May 14th. And I tell him right now is your opportunity to learn the what, learn your craft.
Sure.
But once you learn your what and your craft, you gotta, it's who you know that's going to be able to get you in some of those things. And when you get in, when you build those relationships, what you learn now has to come into play.
Right.
Because that's a part of the relationship that we can't ever take for granted is, oh, I'll be able to keep this client, I'll keep these folks happy just because they just like me.
Right.
But if you can't perform, if you can't do the work, that'll make the relationship tight. That'll make it, very uncomfortable. And so I tell younger, I say, right now, you learn your what, you're in college, you do what you do, you grind it out, you learn it, you be the best at your craft. Because whenever you step out, it's all about relationships. It's all about who you know that's going to get you where you really want to go. But they still going to be looking at, can he do the work?
Right.
Does he know the job? Does he have the skill? Right. And so, I think that's important as well. Whenever you went into these new territories, imagine if you didn't have the operational capacity.
Right.
It'd have been like, hey, man, we introduced you, here. You went over there and you flopped.
Right.
What's up, man?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed to say it. We could have executed better. We left some money on the table. And that's also part of the entrepreneurial journey. So, even though I could have had it planned out to the T, right?
You only
there's always one wrench away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to be, but I think the message behind that is being able to be adaptable and being humble enough to be self-aware enough and humble enough to say, okay, I screwed up here, and here. This is where we could have done better.
Right.
We'll use it as a learning experience because, people talk about failure, right? I only see failure as if you give up, if you quit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I look at it as it's a learning experience.
Yep.
And if you don't learn from it, then that you can almost consider that a failure. But you got to take the highs with the lows, but you got to look at both of them equally as, okay, well, what did I do good or what did I do wrong? How do I learn? How do I capitalize on what I did good? How do I learn from what I did wrong and make sure that turns into a positive and doesn't stay as a negative? So, anyways, I'm going to put my burn the shit hat on and talk to both of y'all. From a Catalyst perspective. So what do you guys kind of have in the pipeline? I know we've talked about just briefly, maybe being able to facilitate other podcasts if somebody's looking to start their own. But what else do you guys have coming down the pipeline? What's going on in y'all's world?
You want me to jump on?
Yeah,
first?
go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. President.
From a Catalyst standpoint, I'm happy to announce we have signed a lease on a Ruston location, which we will have another podcast room to be able to really work that I-20. We even have some partnerships in Shreveport so that our goal is if you're in North Louisiana and you're trying to get your brand awareness out through podcasts, and we have some options for you. Along with that, obviously, is just have that footprint to start working because Ruston and Monroe are not that far apart. A 28-minute drive is nothing. Most cities can't even get from one point to another in a city. So to have this mindset that we're going to sit in our silo and just do our own little thing is crazy. So once again, collaboration. Too many times we've seen a company in Ruston have an opportunity to help someone in Monroe or vice versa, and them not do that. But when you plug them together, it really strengthens our region. So having that regional approach has always been, big for us. So I'm happy that we have that going. We have, bringing on Rick and having that ability now to scale is something we're looking into and wanting to be able to do, and I think we can do. So, and obviously we have our website, so if you want to do your own podcast, all you got to do is go on the website and start booking through there. So we're excited about that portion of it.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, certainly. We got some other things coming in as well. Some working space environments that we're bringing in here in the near future. Some furniture coming in. So it's going to be a great place for small business owners who may be just in town for a day or two that just need a little small office, a little setup or whatnot. So we're definitely creating this nice little ecosystem here.
Very cool. I don't know if you guys can see or hear, but we've got an engineering training down there.
we start them young, you know, starting them young in the entrepreneur
Hey, big
game,
guy.
you know.
And what's his name?
His name is Deuce, Deron Talley II.
All right.
Talley the second.
He's been trying to get in the conversation the whole time. If you heard some cooing, he's just trying to contribute to the conversation. And so, but this is, you know, we're talking about it earlier. This is where we are in the world in terms of work environments, in terms of being entrepreneurs and just leaders and influencers in our community. We wear many hats, but we don't ever forget what we do at home is what matters most. And this is one of my many whys of why I get up and try and collaborate and work with you guys, groups like this, because family is so important.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the team.
Gonna give him a shirt.
Yeah.
Get him a few, which will probably grow out of them pretty quick. Mm-hmm. So, well, man, we appreciate you taking the time. I mean, you were on daddy duty and came over here and you know, he hung out like a champ. So, but appreciate the the insight coming to hang out. Like I said, I'm excited. This is y'all's world. I'm I'm excited to kind of be a fly on the wall. But no, I believe in what you guys are doing. And I'm glad to be a part of it. So it was cool to kind of see.
Well, we appreciate it takes a community to make a change, and I'm glad to have the team that we got and the exciting things we have coming. So
yeah, certainly. Thank you guys for having us. To our listeners, our audience, LouisianaCatalyst.org. Go check out our website. If you're looking for some good quality podcast equipment and space, feel free to book. There's a small fee, but trust me, for what you're getting, it's more than worth it. It's very small business friendly. We're not going to outprice who we really want to help. And so we're very conscientious about our price points and using the state-of-the-art equipment. And you'll see that when you get here. Come by for a tour even. We'll be glad to have you.
absolutely.
Cool. Well, in the meantime, we'll get back to the grind and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.